A very good morning to our listeners out there. Yet another beautiful day for us this morning for News Review. And it is the 24th day of September 2014. And as usual, I'm joined here with my panelists. Let me start from my far right. I have Albert. Albert, welcome to the show.
Far right, yes. Good morning.
Jean-Marie Le Pen.
Exactly.
Extremists.
The other elephant.
Yes, the elephant is on the far right, and next to the elephant is Evelyn.
The near right.
Yes, the near right.
Center right.
Yes.
Good thing you didn't try to compare her to an animal.
Yeah. And joining us for the first time today, Moses Mekenye.
Yeah, morning to you.
Morning to you.
Welcome to the show. And of course,
You try to scare us.
and finally, the king of the jungle, Lion, the far left.
You see?
Today I got it right, man.
You got it right. You'll never beer if you drink.
Okay, it's quite a jovial morning for all of you here. But I hope now I'm going to take you into matters that will not be making you laugh, I guess.
Go right ahead, man.
Yes.
Try your
It's
best.
really
I
hard
try
to
my
spoil
best.
our mood.
Now, I had earlier highlighted, before the start of the show, that I'll be talking about the Rwanda Revenue Authority, and that is just what I want to pick straight into. And the Rwanda Revenue Authority released a detailed report. In their report, they're showing that they have over 1,000 defaulters, tax payment defaulters, and they're set out to collect about 55 billion Rwandan francs. Now, this is quite a lot of money. Tax, I guess, money that belongs to the public. Why is RRA losing this much?
Why?
Yeah, why? Yeah. I mean, but you have the wrong guys here. We have the other side of the counter. Yeah, the other side of the counter.
We've been telling them to come and take their money. But anyways, it's not an unusual thing, but it's made to seem so. Apparently, I watched part of a news of a press conference that they had, trying to explain that, saying that these are the bad students in the class, that somehow the defaulting on your taxes or being late in payment is not something unusual. The whole economy is based on credit. Yes. So that's not so much the problem. Apparently, according to them, the problem is that the people on the list are the ones who have been written to. Don't reply, don't give a plan on how they're going to pay it back. That's what they say. Some people beg to differ, but I think for each individual and each company on that list, it's for them to approach them and see.
First of all, I think we need to put things in context.
Yes.
When you hear numbers coming from an institution like that or another financial institution,
Right.
there's a lot of that money that is projected like that is in fact virtual money. In the sense of,
Do you have a reason to say that?
yes, I'll explain you.
Yes.
Let's say you owe an institution like that. It could be a bank. You see, it's the same principle. Let's say you owe them some money. Let's say 4 million. But in the time that you were given or that you had committed for, you were unable to pay that, and those 4 million now become 8 million. And then when you are still negotiating, those 8 become 16, and then they're 32. And that is how you get the numbers. That's when I say there's a virtual part of it. There's a hard part of it, of course, but there's also how much of these 15 billion are not fines and multiplications of fines and all of that. That is one thing.
Yeah.
And-
Go ahead.
Okay? That's one thing.
Yes.
Secondly, we are dealing here in a situation where we had zero private sector, almost zero. And we're doing much better today in private sector generation than 10 years before and 20 years before. Okay?
Yes.
So, of course, in a situation of startups, because that's the situation of Rwanda, you indeed will have stuff like that. So it's a normal exercise. Also, well, the good thing of RRA is to come out and to say, guys, please.
Albert,
Yes.
I find it important again to note to you that they say a larger percentage of the defaulters are medium-sized companies.
Okay, now, Michael, if I
And
may,
not startups
may
as-
chip
as-
in
as-
there.
No.
if
When
I
I
try to
say
suggest.
startups, is because even if they're medium size, they maybe only started 10 years ago,
Yes.
Sure.
not before. It's not like they've been here for. It's not Brarirwa, you see.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what I say. That's what I say. You have a situation in general for the private sector in Rwanda of a startup.
And
You know,
there's
like
something,
Moses,
if I may
let-
come in,
say
you
something.
know, like I'm looking at the press conference as the Lion was saying.
yes.
Yes.
The RRA guys, they're giving us reason. They're telling us that most of these businesses, they come into business, these people, then after a few years, they're leaving the business without notifying the, the RRA, the body.
Yeah, in some
but
cases
now,
there's
if we look
that,
at
yeah.
this, Lion, Rwanda, the economy of Rwanda is being supported by small and medium sized, enterprises, the SMEs.
Right.
Now, let me ask you one thing, Michael. An SME, there is somebody who has a capital of as low as 40,000 francs. He's moving into business for the first time.
Yes.
You don't even give him that tax holiday period, to adjust everything, get into business.
Yes.
This person moves into business with his capital of 40,000 francs. Then on the first month, you're knocking on his door to pay taxes, which means, you're not giving this person an enabling doing business environment practically. Because, when I look at at RDB, they keep telling us of giving the tax holidays to the big boys. An investor comes in from outside, is investing like $50 billion.
Yes.
You're giving this person a tax holiday of 6 months at the expense of a local businessman who's operating at 2% scale. It doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe
I think this is
Michael-
what is pushing these people out of business. And at the end of the day, they're not remitting their tax because they cannot afford to.
Right.
How long has this accumulated? For how long has it accumulated from this year to this year to?
I think the records, they give the records in every financial year. In every financial year, every time they're closing a financial year, jumping to another, they're giving these records.
So you see, so you see, you need to be two to play that game.
Yes.
Now, you come at a certain point and you do a press conference, but maybe some of your guys didn't do the follow-up before the press conference. Because when you say that they wrote to these people, they're not responding and all of that. I mean, whatever they can do today, they could do it yesterday, and they could do it the day before. That means you can always come and close the bank accounts and blah 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 and take it to court and all of that,
Yes.
But the whole point is not really there to me, because you can try you'd have to go through every single guy who is named on the list to have his story. But the question is this going to help? Is this going to help? And is this keeping all of these players in your economy? Because our whole economy is in a startup situation.
Very true. Very
You
true.
see, that is why aren't you kicking off some of your guys that you could still mold inside this situation? Let me also give you another perspective that maybe very few people understand.
Yes.
Even the guys who are maybe taxing us. But we are in a situation where we have amongst the highest tax menu actually.
Bracket? Bracket, you mean?
Well, the tax situation of the economy between 30 and 40%
Yes.
is high. You reach those. I mean, in the West, you've reached those levels because of enrichment of the society.
Right.
It's because the society was getting richer and richer that they've been taxing more and more. Now, at one side, you have such.
Do you think it's the same case of AS in the society?
That is exactly what I mean. Is that in the West they never started with 30 or 40%. we immediately, of course, we want to skip some stages and want to move fast, and we go there eventually. But on the other side, access to finance costs it's out of price.
It's a hard of
It's
sure.
18-20%
Yeah.
to get loans. So
let me ask this
and
question.
then again, this is how expensive doing business is in Rwanda.
Yes.
So you have a high tax rate. You have high, so expensive access to finance, and then you've had ever since 2010, 11, and 12. That is why you need to put also in your picture.
Okay.
There has been a slowdown of business.
Okay, so let me pose this question to you guys. If the situation that you seem to present here is the fact that back here at home, in the business person back here at home is getting hurt, and if you're having an investor coming in, they are they're coming in easy.
You trying.
Is it to say that this is a misplaced priority?
No. You're trying to no.
Is
No.
RRA
We're not doing
No, it's not.
comparisons.
It's
We're
not.
looking at the
It's,
bigger picture.
I'm just saying that I'm not sure this is the right way to handle these areas. I think in a startup situation, closer to your customer, we should deliver more results than a situation where one size fits all, and you put a list there and you tell everyone to come out.
No, it's even indecent. It's indecent to me to see a list like that. They list out the name of a company, they put the name of the owner, they even put the ID number. Now, how is that going to help? What is that for? It's just to humiliate you, or is it really a good step to make towards making you pay anything? Or it's just we're putting it out there now?
It's a very wrong technique.
Yeah.
It's a very wrong technique. But
But there's something we have to say though. In the beginning
Yes.
of this, when you posed the question,
Yeah.
you said it's the public's money, but it's not true, because this is not an institution that gave you. It's not people who paid taxes and they gave it to you. You are part of that public, and you're trying to pay that tax,
Very true.
and you very well understand that it is your duty as a citizen of
part
the
of the
country,
citizen,
because
right? The tax.
this is how the
To
country
pay
will
the
work.
tax.
Yeah.
So, but now there is something. You are a defaulter, but it doesn't mean that you are trying to swindle the public's money, or you're trying to swindle
something that belongs
You're,
to
you're, you're not a tax evader. A tax evader is someone who is criminal, is purposely not paying taxes. So if you are a business, if so many businesses
That's the
are
whole point,
defaulting,
the whole distinction
maybe
that needs
we
to
need
be-
to sit down and have a conversation. Maybe it could be the tax holiday. It could be anything else. But we need to have a conversation to say, why is it? Why are these businesses struggling?
Yeah, it may
Why
be something wrong, in the whole system. Yeah,
like
sure.
they said, like they pointed out, there are many who didn't go through the legal procedure for liquidation, because once you do that, once you say I've gone bankrupt, it didn't work out for me, you're forgiven, you're exempt of paying those taxes.
Yes.
But maybe if they don't do it, maybe there's a problem in communicating it to them that there is that step. Maybe there's that provision, but they don't know about it. So we need to have these kind of conversations, and I don't think that putting out a list out there is the way to do it.
Thanks a lot for that, Lion. And maybe I'd even like to add on your point.
Yes.
By saying that there was a case I've read, a case that was presented out of coming out of this whole RRA, the steps that they're going to take, and there's somewhere a particular business entity that I don't want to name,
Yes,
that
yes.
they claim this was the situation. The initial owners closed it down out of financial issues. Then somebody new came on board. Now, since there was no that formal exchange of that particular business entity, what has happened is there are two different the tax the PIN numbers used for their tax
Yeah, the TIN
payment,
numbers,
the TIN numbers. So what has happened is, on one side, RRA is seeing cumulative tax from the other business.
And is it
The
a
previous-
But
cumulative
this
tax
other
for the new
and
accounts?
the new person claims, no, I've been paying since I took over the business. And you're seeing the kind of situation it has actually brought.
Let me give you another example on that same in this, not a similar situation, but something that does happen. When they call you a tax defaulter, maybe you have defaulted on taxes for previous years.
Yes.
But your current taxes you are paying. So
yes.
how is that? How are you then? How do you end up on that list? Well, I would imagine if you're a guy who just doesn't want to pay taxes, then surely. But you are paying. You're trying to be up to date with the current taxes and trying to come up with a payment plan for the arrears that you had because you didn't know. Maybe you were just starting the business.
Or
maybe you
your
didn't have the
business was
competent
sinking
people.
somewhere, you know?
Yes. So a business person is struggling with all those things. And that's why when you put people on a list like that, it gives to the public the wrong impression.
Yes.
The wrong impression that you're not trying to help, you're not trying to solve the case, and they're not wanting to look at your specifics. Like Albert said earlier, if you go on the list, you go down the list, each and every business has their own story. They were not trying to default, but somehow they ended up that way. So how do we accompany them? Because at the end of the day, what do we want?
No,
Is this
but
to
even
yeah.
go further. If you go further in your logic, I mean, if that situation could push, I mean, it could be easier for people to say, you know what? Okay, fine, let me close the business, and then I don't have to pay all of this. And then, but if you are closer to that guy, I mean, that motivates him to say, okay, fine, let me fight on, and find a way to pay back. Those to pay that the debt and that, but at least develop because today things are better than 5 years ago. But I'm paying something of 5 years ago. So I think, and I think that was also the logic of the press conference, because I didn't follow it, but from what I heard is that they're opening up the doors.
And Evelyn seems to be burning here with that.
Yeah, to me, I think there is lack of sensitization. When new people come into business, I think they need to be sensitized. Because I'm inheriting a business, I didn't know of the history. I didn't know this guy was a defaulter. I didn't know he didn't pay some taxes. So how else will I know that I'm a defaulter? I mean, if I'm told, I'll be surprised to be told you're defaulting taxes. So I mean, I think there's need to be some kind of sensitization.
And let me speak. We've said we're not naming businesses, but let me say this because it's a secret to none, that we are also on that list. And so when people say, when I heard in the press conference that, these are people we write to, we try to communicate, they're not even responding. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I see these guys here all the time. I see us communicating. We have written a countless of letters. So how do we find ourselves in that list?
Yes.
That's what I'm telling you. It gives the wrong impression. And at the end of the day, doesn't really help. All it does is try to humiliate you.
Very true. You know, like Lion is trying to say, I think that whole list is a humiliation thing. I think, and sorry to use that word, but I think was a very uncouth move for the the tax authority.
Well, normally, legally, honestly speaking, this was defamation, and this defamation
It was.
is you can take it to court.
You're thinking of suing?
But the point is not there. The point is to find a solution to all that. And they've opened the doors. I mean, they haven't closed the doors. They haven't put a list there and say, now you do or die,
And they haven't pointed out, this list only points a finger at private sector.
Yes.
They are not, in fact, saying that a lot of public owes money to
And,
we are struggling.
Another funny thing,
Wait a minute.
another funny thing. Someone has been in business for the past 7 years. This person misses out on tax for 4 months.
Yes.
Then the guy still in business is still pumping money into RRA or that into the government. Then at the end of the day, you're publishing his name. Seriously.
No, but and the other thing is, I think African governments have not helped private businesses, especially local businesses, because many people have complained about, like I said, holidays. I mean, why don't they think of a way of helping these upcoming businesses, the local investors?
Yes.
In a way that, much as they have these taxes in the beginning, they need to be given a holiday for a period of time, so that they can regain. They can know the market and how to play the game.
She has a very interesting point, Albert. Before you chip in,
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm not supporting
Because
this
you were
kind of,
quicker.
Has a deeper voice.
I'm not speaking, about. I'm not trying to support anything.
Yeah.
But when I tour some countries in the region, I go to Tanzania, I go to Kenya, I go to Uganda.
Yes.
I find these young boys across the street, Lion, they are selling the burusheti.
Why you talk of young
you know,
boys and you say lion? I'm not into young boys. What are you trying to suggest?
Okay, Michael. So, you know, these are the guys who went a business because they have the minimal capital startup.
Yes.
Then at the end of the day, the tax body or maybe the city municipalities are giving him something at the end of the, is like remitting something, like maybe talk of 100, or 1,000 Ugandan shillings to survive in the business. This is somebody who's going to sell his maize across the road, or maybe Zaburusheti. 2 years down the line, he's going to open up a shop, then start remitting tax officially. But now in Rwanda, we talk of an enabling, doing business environment on paper. I'm sorry to say that. But at the end of it, in practice, when you come to practice, as I repeat, I can repeat again as I said before. I have 50,000 francs to start up a milk shop. How do you expect me that after 1 month I should have accumulated, or maybe rather like break an even?
But if you present it like that, then again that's an individual story, and like Lion and myself was saying, each guy on that list might have his own story. But
yes.
in general, I must say that there are Rwanda is trying to help a private sector to move on.
Yes.
The move of RRA is also showing that Rwanda is trying to manage the best they can to just move on faster.
Yes.
You see? So I just believe that the list, the technique was the wrong move. But the most important thing is how we're gonna get those billions in in the box.
Yes, and what in some nations, around one of the nations I've seen in East Africa on issues tax, I've seen one, they've always extended the payment period, or two, there is that waiver kind of there's that period they say if you're a defaulter, we are waiving the penalties, so just come and pay. You have about 2 months to do that. Whether RRA are listening to this and they feel that is one of the some of the things that they can borrow, then they could look around the region and try and study these trends, I guess.
Yeah. The whole point is what? That we are part of the same team.
Yes.
No one is trying to hurt anyone, and then we should have a conversation. I was pointing out the situation of a company that may have had problems in the beginning doing paying those taxes, or maybe because due to incompetence did not know, but now they're in the goods. Now every year they're paying their taxes regularly, but they're saying, okay, I'm trying to keep my business floating, but these arrears are killing me. It's difficult to keep this business going with these arrears. They should consider if now you're back on the right track, they should consider waiving that. They should forgive, because even countries are being forgiven for debts they obviously cannot pay. Yeah.
So it's a reason more that the individual, because otherwise some people might say, okay, fine, if there is no waiver, let me close business. And then you close. And you close a milking cow.
Yeah, that's quite right. And
Michael, if I may ask,
Yes.
I was following up the RRA press conference.
Yes.
The RRA, chief says one thing, that the people who quit business without notifying the body,
Yes.
they have to pay the taxes that they evaded. So one thing I'm wondering, if I went bankrupt and I was pushed out of the
if you're
business,
bankrupt, there's no way.
what's the mechanism?
No,
How they-
What he was saying, go ahead.
What he was saying is that because there's a procedure for it, you don't just go bankrupt and say they will know. You have to go and notify them that.
So
okay,
maybe the bankrupt is in
yeah.
courts, maybe something like that.
So normally it's a legal procedure.
it's
So
a legal
it
procedure.
has to be a court that attests to the fact that you have in fact gone through the process of liquidation. That way they can stop it right there and say, okay, as a result of this, now you are exempt of paying these taxes, but and of course there are some other legal ramifications to that, but you have to say it. So that one I understand fully.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
That's
so
what
they
I'm
have-
saying. They
yeah.
need to sensitize these people.
Exactly.
Because
Sometimes people maybe don't know.
Yes.
They don't know. They say, okay, let me just
The Anani,
yeah.
Yeah,
I've run
and
out
that's-
of money. I should just close and
close
go
business,
home.
and go home. And now, taking a look at the Rwandan budget, which is about 1.7 trillion, RRA says that they collect nearly 900 billion. Now, in every fiscal year, whenever they make their collections, the arrears that are being paid back by defaulters makes 4% of that total collection.
Yes.
Does this mean that actually, in other sense, this 55 billion is a drop in the ocean?
But even if it was a drop in the ocean, it's about even the way the whole system works. I mean, if Rwanda wants to grow out of a AIDS-free situation,
Yes.
even if it was a drop, you have to account for that drop.
Yeah, seriously, you cannot call it a drop, Michael, because Rwanda is trying to move away from this foreign aid dependency. So
Yes.
when you talk about 15 billion,
And-
it's a money that could take care of a certain sector of an
Exactly.
economy.
In other words, what I
Yes.
was trying to say is this: does that mean that RRA have been efficient to the extent that if the money that you're seeing is small, then it means actually they've really been doing their work out there?
Absolutely, but absolutely. But in fact, here, what I was trying also to point out is that RRA has the mission
Yes.
and the duty to grow the taxpayer population. And but with a move like that, they could be in fact
Yeah, the-
killing
a decrease,
some of it, you know.
Being too high,
So they've been very
Harsh.
efficient. Well, they've been very efficient,
Yes.
and they are trying to keep the pace and to be more efficient. But I say that move
Yes.
is
not one of
not
the
maybe the best move. Although, like I
Yes.
say, it's only a part of the move, the visible part of it,
Yes.
because the other part is that they're opening doors on to say, okay, come and commit and do something and move on. You know,
Yes. Okay.
so and that is really important. But what you just said is true.
Yes.
And one of the missions is to grow the population, the taxpayer
Right.
population.
Right.
Another thing I could say, Michael, let's not much get interested or get jovial about some figures you're reading off. Like Rwanda, I know we are moving into this dependency thing. You understand? Right now, the last figures I checked in were at 65%. Domestic budgeting, we were at around 66 or 65% there,
yes.
point something. Yeah. So I know the tax board is doing the right job.
Yes.
When it can raise up to 65% of the national budgets,
Yes.
then it means they're doing a good job. But now let's look behind the curtains also. They are doing a good job, but how many entries are we having into business?
Yes.
How many exits are we having? Let's analyze the whole picture.
Yes.
Let's not just get
The
excited
turnaround.
about this.
Yes.
It moves on 65, 68, 69.
Yes.
Get stagnant, then we're looking at a downscale. It's not a good thing for Rwanda.
And that's quite true. That means they'll be reversing on the gains they've made in the previous
That
years.
is very true. So I
Yeah.
think they should coin mechanisms, to
yes.
tackle the relation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that contribution. Maybe very quickly, let me have Evelyn and Lion make their final submissions on this.
I believe the best way to go is to let people know how to deal with the issue of taxes and how to exit the businesses. Otherwise, many people will continue exiting business not knowing they left a debt behind. If they tell them, before you exit, let us know. Let us know you have this debt, you will pay it in a period of time, then
Yes.
that will be so easy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So for me, it's. I'll repeat what I said before. You have to keep that conversation going
Yes.
and educate people on taxes. You know that.
Right.
I remember even for back in the day from Bible study, the bad guy was always the tax collector. So
Exactly story.
so
You've been
it's-
reading the right Bibles.
I've never known that about Lion.
Oh yes, I have, but now I'm in handcuffs, my people.
Oh yes.
So anyway, it's important. Some people take taxes as punishment. Some people
Right.
don't understand that it's a pact that you have as a citizen with your government
With
to
your
say, okay,
neighbor.
together,
Yes.
let's
With your
let's be
Let's build it.
independent and build this country and get
Yes.
somewhere.
That's
So
right.
it's a pact of solidarity.
Yes.
And but if you don't educate people on that, most people, especially the little guy, will think, why are you punishing us? Why are you punishing us? This
Yeah.
is
Why
too
you being
much.
so- yes.
So this conversation needs to keep going. It has been happening, something, but we need more of that.
Okay, thank you so much. You have been listening to News Review on 89.7 Contact FM, and now this is where we wrap up the show. I have been your host, Michael Kiche.
He
Alongside
tried
my
so much to spoil the mood,
partner.
but he couldn't.
Thank you, Michael
And it's just
Monyonsho.
fine, and it's just fine.
We appreciate Michael.
Thank you so much for
You're
listening
welcome.
in. This is Contact FM. Good morning.